the first thing that would came to our mind will be Al-Qaïda.
There was an understanding of the threat, but it was not that high on anybody's priority list.
On a baissé la garde.
The intelligence community doesn't get everything right. They don't have divine wisdom.
We have suffered great loss, and in our grief and anger, we have found our mission and our moment.
C'est le lion du Panjshir, l'icône de la résistance afghane. Dans sa vallée, le commandant Massoud arpente la ligne de front avec les talibans et reçoit les journalistes étrangers. Ce 9 septembre 2001, ce sont deux reporters arabes qui se présentent à lui.
We were always following him in order to make a big archive of his images. So that day, I had my own camera, and I just wanted to capture the interview. We were 4 people, me, another friend, and these 2 Arabs. The leader asked them who you are, how did you came to Afghanistan, what kind of questions they have. At least one of the questions was that if you take over Afghanistan, what you gonna do with Al-Qaïda and the leader of Al-Qaïda, Osama bin Laden. And I was busy with my camera maybe for 15, 20, 30 seconds that I heard the voice of explosion. The voice was not so strong, just like when a football is exploding. Then when I look back to the building, I saw that all the doors and windows are crashed, there are gas and smoke.
La caméra des faux journalistes a échappé à la vigilance des gardes. Les 2 hommes, en réalité membres d'Al-Qaïda, y ont dissimulé une charge explosive.
I was with my grandmother. I was sitting with her and we were having food. My sister was with us as well. And I picked up a spoon to eat, and then it fell off my hand. And all of a sudden there was a rush of stress and adrenaline in my blood vessels and vein, and I was really scared and feared. And my grandmother asked me, "What is happening to you?" I said, "I don't know, but I have this strange feeling something happened to my father." At the exact moment when the attack and blast happened, hundreds of miles and kilometers away from where it happened, the helicopter landed. We saw the big hospital building, and there was another building at a distance, which was the morgue. And the car, instead of turning toward the hospital, it turned toward the morgue. And I knew that at that time that he's not alive anymore.
Malgré la perte de leur chef emblématique, les principaux responsables de l'Alliance du Nord parviennent à maintenir l'unité du mouvement. Les héritiers de Massoud doivent faire face à la poussée des talibans, qui contrôlent déjà la quasi-totalité du pays.
Al-Qaïda was working with Taliban right from the beginning. Al-Qaïda was thinking that taking advantage of the situation, say they will have a sort of permanent base in Afghanistan. So there was this, the ideology was the same, the methods were more or less the same.
Ce que le monde ne réalise pas encore, c'est que l'assassinat de Massoud n'est qu'une première étape.
flash spécial, un attentat selon les médias américains.
Puisqu'on vient d'apprendre qu'un avion s'est écrasé tout en haut de l'une des 2 tours du World Trade Center.
L'avion n'a pas dévié de sa trajectoire. Il semble bien qu'il se soit délibérément jeté sur la tour.
En levant les yeux un peu avant 9 heures, j'ai vu un immense nuage de fumée. J'ai appelé mes collaborateurs immédiatement et nous étions là à commenter ce qui nous paraissait être un accident gravissime lorsque nous avons vu, sous nos yeux, un deuxième avion. Et à ce moment-là, on a compris que ce n'était pas un accident, mais que l'Amérique était attaquée, qu'elle était en guerre.
And I immediately called Assistant Secretary for Counterintelligence and said we're under attack. Then about 2 minutes later, the Vice President called and said, please get down to the secure conference room. We need to have a video call. But I immediately realized that in the wake of the assassination, the bombing of Ahmed Shah Massoud, that the United States, and certainly me, I was guilty of a failure of imagination.
Depuis des années, Massoud l'Afghan tentait de mettre en garde les Occidentaux contre la menace d'Al-Qaïda. Il le répétait inlassablement, comme lors de sa visite au Parlement européen de Strasbourg début 2001, ou encore lors de l'une de ses toutes dernières interviews, ici, un mois avant sa mort.
Si Osama Ben Laden n'est pas occupé en Afghanistan, je pense que leur réseau ils feront beaucoup de dégâts à l'extérieur.
Yes, of course. They were listening, but no action.
Alors, dans la vallée du Panjshir, on comprend très vite que ces attentats aux États-Unis sont liés à l'Afghanistan.
The people who are responsible for 9/11 are the same people who were responsible for my father's assassination.
When these 2 Arabs entered our territory, it was almost 15 days before the 9th of September. Means that the plan was to assassinate the leader much more before 9th of September. If they succeed to do that, then they would have had enough time to clean up Afghanistan before the 9/11.
I can tell you, it was interesting because when Ahmed Shah Massoud was killed, the Taliban was elated. They were absolutely elated. They thought, this is it, okay, without Massoud, finally we're going to win the war, etc., etc.
La principale poche de résistance aux talibans et à Al-Qaïda n'a pas été vaincue. Une épine dans le pied pour Osama Ben Laden, qui sait parfaitement que dans leur riposte, les États-Unis pourront s'appuyer sur ces anciens soldats de Massoud. Au sein de la CIA, des agents tentent désespérément ces dernières années de faire d'Al-Qaïda la priorité du renseignement américain. Mais à Langley, le siège de l'agence, la direction fait la sourde oreille.
I recruited a source who was a member of Al-Qaïda. So we fully recruited him. He went to work for us. And then I was subsequently told by CIA headquarters that I had to break contact with him and stop meeting him, basically because he was a citizen of a country with whom we had friendly relations. And they were more concerned if we were caught meeting this guy about it potentially damaging diplomatic relations than they were about having a source inside Al-Qaïda. So I had to break contact.
Al-Qaïda est dans le viseur de Washington depuis quelques années déjà. Le groupe a mené des attaques contre les ambassades américaines au Kenya et en Tanzanie en 1998 ou contre le navire USS Cole en 2000. Les espions américains repèrent Osama Ben Laden à plusieurs reprises.
When he was in Afghanistan, There were full operational plans written within the Central Intelligence Agency to go to Afghanistan and get rid of him. The original plan being, we're going to go to Afghanistan and we're going to kill this guy because he's getting ready to kill us, because he's already killing us, actually. And those plans were never approved.
He was there with his family. There would have been women and children who would certainly have been killed as part of that operation.
Après le 11 septembre, l'approche américaine change radicalement. Plus question de sentiments ou de demi-mesure.
I want you all to know that America today is on bended knee in prayer for the people whose lives were lost here. I can hear you, the rest of the world hears you, and the people who knocked these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
The day after 9/11, certainly within 24, 48 hours of that, I was back at CIA headquarters. And, and then there was a lot of anger, followed very quickly by okay, can we take the gloves off now? And can we now go do all of the things that we've been trying to get you to let us do? Like, it's too late, thousands of people are dead, but can now we finally be allowed to go end this?
Moins de 48 heures après les attentats, la CIA tente désespérément d'infiltrer l'organisation terroriste au plus vite pour obtenir des informations et mieux l'anéantir. Certains se rappellent alors de l'ancienne source de Sam Fadis.
Somebody from Counterterrorism Center actually came to talk to me and asked me if I knew how they could make contact with this guy and where they could find him, which is a ridiculous question, right? He was a terrorist, wasn't my friend, wasn't my brother. We didn't keep in contact socially. He never knew my true name, obviously. You don't hang out with terrorist sources. You don't send them Christmas cards. Where is he? Well, if I could guess, he's out there right now organizing follow-on operations to kill Americans. That's my guess.
We have a great intelligence agency. We're still not the best intelligence in the world. And why? Because we don't have to be. We're not the Israelis. We're not being attacked on all sides. We're the free, democratic, open society with an open border to the south. Come on, what could go wrong here? And all of a sudden we discover evil exists.
Et si démocrates comme républicains n'ont pas assez prêté attention à la menace terroriste, c'est que l'époque semble bien calme.
You've got to remember in the 90s that we were celebrating the peace dividend. The wall came down. We cut back our intelligence investment, our funding for our intelligence community drastically.
C'est vrai que la chute du bloc soviétique, la fin de l'apartheid en Afrique du Sud, l'idée qu'on allait arriver à un accord entre les Palestiniens et les Israéliens dans le processus de paix engagé par Rabin et Arafat, ont créé pendant un certain nombre de mois, de longs mois, un climat qui était un climat plutôt optimiste, effectivement. Ça a été, le 11 septembre, la fin d'une période brève, que je n'appellerais pas d'euphorie, mais de tranquillité internationale.
Suddenly we discover, whoa, we don't have enough Arab speakers. We don't have enough Persian speakers. We don't have dialect speakers. Yes, we don't have enough of what we need.
So if I'm correct, you say all of these, and I mean 9/11 attacks, was preventable?
Without question, absolutely it was preventable.
L'Amérique découvre ses failles. Le choc des attaques n'est pas encore passé, mais l'heure est déjà à la vengeance.
Our grief has turned to anger, and anger to resolution. Whether we bring our enemies to justice or bring justice to our enemies, justice will be done.
The first decision was to give Taliban a chance to hand over Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaïda. And the first message to the Taliban in Afghanistan was, if you do that, you can remain in power. They had a very short deadline. They made it clear they were not going to turn over any of the Al-Qaïda leadership. And so it followed inevitably from that we would take military action.
À l'évidence, l'Occident ne pouvait pas le comprendre, n'a vu là, et je comprends que n'a vu là qu'un acte de sauvagerie, et face à une bête sauvage, qu'est-ce qu'on fait? On la bat. On n'essaye pas de calculer pourquoi elle vous a mordu. Vous voyez,
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.